Have you ever noticed how a stream sings its song in the quiet, far away from the crowds? It flows effortlessly, weaving through jagged rocks, slipping past damp moss, always moving downward. Over 2,500 years ago, the philosopher Laozi stood by such a stream and glimpsed a wisdom that transcends time. The highest good is like water. Water benefits all things, yet does not compete. It flows to the places others avoid. At first glance, this seems like a simple observation. But hidden within it is the ultimate secret to life and success, especially in an era where self-promotion is everything. Perhaps now more than ever, we need to learn the art of growing in the low places. Think about water. It never fights for attention. It doesn't compete for height. Yet it nourishes everything in its path. Its humility is its strength. That's why Laozi believed water was the closest thing to the Tao, the natural way of the universe. Look around you. The most powerful and wise people often carry themselves with quiet confidence. They don't need to prove anything. They don't boast. And yet, their presence is undeniable, just like water shaping the land without force. In chapter 66 of the Tao Te Ching, Laozi gives us another profound insight. The reason the sea can rule over all rivers is that it lies lower than them. That is why it can gather them in. Think about that. The vast ocean, the ruler of all waters, earns that title simply by being low. He goes on to say, if a leader wishes to be above others, they must first humble themselves. If they want to lead, they must be willing to follow. True greatness isn't about standing on a pedestal. It's about stepping down so others naturally lift you up. The best leaders are not those who demand respect, but those whom people want to follow. So, in a world obsessed with standing out, maybe the real power lies in knowing when to step back. Just like water, flowing low, but shaping everything in its path. The Tao is supreme, yet it always resides in the lowest places. It seeks the depths, just as water does, always flowing downward. Why? Because that's where true power lies. In a previous episode, we talked about the Tao's infinite capacity. The Tao is like a void, yet it is inexhaustible. It is vast and limitless, and yet it always gathers more. This ability to continuously accumulate strength is what makes one truly powerful. That's why the concept of being low isn't a contradiction to greatness. It's the very foundation of it. But let's be clear, humility doesn't mean weakness. On the contrary, it reveals an inner strength and quiet confidence. As the Tao Te Ching states, know the masculine, but hold to the feminine. The strongest people understand their power, yet they choose to remain humble. They don't seek validation through bragging or competition. Instead, they let their actions and contributions speak for themselves. History is full of extraordinary individuals who embody this wisdom. Take George Washington, for example. After leading the American colonies to victory in the Revolutionary War, he could have seized power indefinitely. Instead, he voluntarily stepped down, returning to his farm. His humility made him even more respected, ultimately leading him to become the first president of the United States, not because he sought the position, but because people insisted he take it. Even modern psychology supports this idea. Studies show that those who constantly seek attention, always flaunting their achievements, often do so out of insecurity. It's the Icarus effect. The closer you fly to the sun, the more likely your wings will melt. Meanwhile, true strength thrives in silence. Think about the deep-sea creatures. Unseen, undisturbed, yet adapting and surviving in the most extreme conditions. Or consider a young, unknown patent clerk sitting quietly in a Swiss office, no fame, no recognition, yet secretly formulating the ideas that would revolutionize physics. That clerk? His name was Albert Einstein. Staying humble isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. It protects us from unnecessary conflict and earns us respect and support. As Laozi wisely said, because he does not compete, no one can compete with him. When you stop fighting for attention, you avoid resentment. And when you focus on your own path instead of comparing yourself to others, you grow stronger in ways people don't see until the right moment. Think about bamboo. It doesn't rush to grow tall. In its early years, it stays low, quietly strengthening its roots. But when the time is right, it shoots up seemingly overnight. Many of the world's greatest minds and leaders understood this. Stay unnoticed while you grow, then strike when the opportunity comes. So let's be clear, being low-key doesn't mean lacking confidence. It doesn't mean stepping back out of fear. True humility is a form of strategy. It's the art of patience, the power of restraint. It's knowing your worth without having to prove it to everyone. Because, in the end, quiet strength is often the most unstoppable force. Just like water, soft, unassuming, yet powerful enough to carve through stone. In the next episode, we'll explore another fascinating idea: why ambiguity is better than clarity. If you are interested in learning more about the wisdom of Daoist philosophy, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. See you next time.